Hey guys, what's up? Devin here. So this is a bit of a very late response. I mean, I'm doing this like at the end of May, but apparently everyone else is doing it, so I decided to give my opinion on The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I don't usually upload opinions to movies or something. I don't know, that's not what I do. What I usually do. But if you don't like spoilers, and just go on forward to the end of the film. Sorry, I'm sweating a bit. It's Florida after all. It's hot. Yeah. Yes, I'm a slight bit overweight, but again, number one, it's Florida. Number two, it's slightly drizzling out. Anyway, so yeah, that's where I was. So I've seen The Amazing Spider-Man 2. It was a good film, and but the real question you're trying to figure out whether if you've seen the movie, you know this. But if you haven't seen it and you don't mind spoilers and you're not going to see the second movie due to some friggin' reason or something, and yet you're curious as to what happens in the film, or what have you, then you're thinking the big old question: does Gwen Stacy die? Well, the answer is yes. Gwen Stacy dies at the end of The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Now, the feelings I have about Gwen Stacy's death isn't exactly how it was portrayed, which it was portrayed really nicely. I mean, it was a really good change from the comic books, where the famous death on the bridge scene. We got the clock tower, and it's all symbolic about how no heroes, no villains can stop time, and basically it wasn't actually Harry Osborn that killed Gwen Stacy. It was more time. And Spider-Man's stupid decision to say, drop her in front of the glass dome, which is fucking fragile in movies, which is common sense. But my point is, Gwen Stacy's death was like, it was like a kick in the balls. I'm not talking any kick in the balls. I'm talking like a square kick in the balls. Now how to analogize it to the kicker, which was, obviously the director and the creators. It's a friggin' masterpiece. The critics, which are the watchers, it was beautiful. The critics was beautiful, but my point is, it's just a direct kick. It's beautifully executed. Yeah, very well executed. You're not a single strand of leg hair blocking that kick. Not a single one halting the impact, even slightly. 100% impact to the groin area. You're on the floor, you're friggin' writhing in pain. And that's what Gwen Stacy's death was like. A square, beautifully executed kick to the genitals. Now, I'm not going to see The Amazing Spider-Man 3. I don't know. Gwen Stacy's death, as beautifully executed as it was, as emotional as it was, and as significant as it was, I personally find that this may cause the franchise to jump the shark, I guess. Seeing how she was the most useful love interest that Spidey's had in a film, much way better than Kristen Dunst. And I don't know, maybe she was a good character, or maybe I hate to say, maybe Emma Stone is kind of hot, kind of good looking, I guess. I don't know, this coming from a male's perspective, but no, it's none of those things. It's actually because the whole experience was like waiting for a needle. And personally, that didn't work for me. You just shouldn't have to feel like you're waiting for a needle. You should feel like you're enjoying a film. And it's just, didn't like it, I guess. I just didn't like, the experience didn't work for me. Alright? Maybe if the trope was averted or something, it doesn't matter what happened in the comics. But if it was a Disney film, yeah, the death probably would have been averted right in the nick of time. Because, after all, the Disney pictures are about, averting your destiny. It's about putting a blanket, kind of like in Wreck-It Ralph, there's this blanket of skepticism, like, you're thinking, there's no hope for a happy ending, and then suddenly there's this little miracle that comes up, and it's just, the happy ending comes, and the darkness is averted. But, you see, Sony's vision of The Amazing Spider-Man 2, or Mark Webb's vision, which is, in my opinion, a pun, Mark Webb's vision of this film was that it's not really about stopping bad things from happening. It's about what you do when your worst fears do come alive. It's about dealing with your worst fears. Yeah, I mean, you hear Spidey's pretty much tempting fate here. I mean, he's always telling Gwen he's afraid to lose her. He doesn't know what he'll do, and he's even putting on a friggin' note when he's trying to figure out where his parents are or something, or this whole chain of events. Will I lose you too? And how nervous he is, and then it finally happens. It finally hits him, and it's just now he's dealing with it. He's dealing with this obstacle, and personally, I find that to be a bit genius. It's a superhero dealing with his worst enemy. Obviously it's not a supervillain. It's not a burglar. It's not kryptonite or any friggin' chemical that weakens him. It's an obstacle that we deal with every day. It's the obstacle of grief. It's a hard thing, even for people like him. And what everyone else has to deal with. And it's a very simple moral. But it's not about what morals you use, it's how you execute the morals. And I believe Sony executed this moral in a very fresh kind of perspective. Or fashion, style, way, I guess. However, I'm not good with words. But, yeah, in my opinion, other than the fact that Gwen Stacy's death felt, I don't know, it's like, it should be surprising that, some people didn't like the fact that Gwen Stacy, in fact, did die. Kind of like her death in the comics actually caused several people unsubscribe. Several unsubscribers. The death was very controversial. And basically, I think that's the deal. She was a significant character, and then you kill her off, and then what happens? But then again, maybe I go to the movies for emotional fulfillment, to escape from my problems, to escape from the problems of everyday life. I mean, yeah, there are some with very very big morals, like can't win them all, and what to do when this happens, and it's like, I just go to the movies for emotional fulfillment. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, escape from my problems, not be coated, enveloped, veiled, blanketed by the problems I'm trying to avoid. But then again, maybe I'm just single, and when you're single, when you've been single since that breakup happened, you're going to hate movies. You're really going to hate movies. And you don't stop going to them. You hate the protagonist, and yet you love the protagonist. You know what I'm saying? You're jealous of the protagonist, and yet you want the couple to stay together. Because it's a 50-50. It's a constant roll of the dice. Some days, you're jealous. You're giving the finger. Fuck you, protagonist. So what? You're fictional. You still have the fucking girl. And then some days you're happy. You're joyous that the protagonist has what he wants. You're feeling like someday I'll have that too. You see, when it comes to films, it doesn't. I forgot what I was going to say. You get the point. You get the point. That's my take on movies. Some movies are about emotional fulfillment. Other films are about more psychological themes. But yeah, it was an emotional film. Amazing Spider-Man 3 is probably going to have Parker continue to deal with the death of Gwen Stacy, plus the Gwen Stacy clone and Venom. They really should put those two together. Basically, Spidey is this Venom-crazed super being. However, the only thing keeping him in check is the Gwen Stacy clone, which all changes at the end of the film after finding out Gwen Stacy was in fact a Hydro clone. She melts, Spidey goes mad, and, he doesn't go mad, but this definitely happens after the final battle. She melts, she's a clone, Spidey's bumming it again, and that's when he goes to Mary Jane. Yeah, Mary Jane does kind of play a role here, you know what I'm saying? She appears, either A, she rejects Spidey, or B, she, it leaves on a cliffhanger, and you kind of figure out for yourself, like, okay, maybe they're together, I guess. That doesn't show you how she reacts, but, that's perhaps a hint that Spidey and Mary Jane are a thing now. There should also be a Spider-Wars film. Spider-Wars in the Spider-Wars, at least in the animated series, I don't know, maybe it happened in the comics as well. It did happen in the comics, and it also happened in Shattered, what was it called? Shattered Time? I forgot. Edge of Time. Edge of Time. That's what it's called. But the thing about this film, it's only limited to 2 Spideys. It wouldn't be called Amazing Spider-Man 4 or anything. It would just be called Spider-Wars. And the protagonist Spideys will be, hopefully, Andrew Garfield and Tobey fucking Maguire. That'll be badass. Devin out.